Real talk time. Welcome back to the Creative Corner. I'm Ashes, and it's been a while since we've had a real talk time. We are going to talk about something we may have talked about before. I can't remember if we did it on here or on TikTok, and I'm no longer doing real talks on TikTok unless I like super short. Occasionally I'll post one. But so we decided me, myself, and I, and the hell of a cats that are in here. There's four, and there's a lot. Good coffee. We decided that we are going to do a real talk time. So there's this thing going around in the author community. If you are a reader or a writer, you might find this topic interesting. You've probably heard of it. The witch hunt on AI. That's what they're calling it, a witch hunt. Okay? Um, the term witch hunt, first of all, in my opinion, is a little bit of an over exaggeration. Okay? The witch hunts were a historical part of history. They're a part of history. And in a sense, were being blamed for partaking in witchcraft and they were burned at the stake. Okay? They lost their legit lives. That was a serious situation. Okay? I'm not saying this situation isn't serious, but what I am saying is that though it is affecting careers and it is potentially destroying careers, you are still alive. So I don't know if I necessarily like the term witch hunt being used in this, but we're going to talk about it. So the AI witch hunt. If you're a millennial like me, you grew up watching movies like Smart House. AI was the dream. We wanted houses that cleaned themselves, houses that cooked for us. We wanted robots that helped us. WALL-E, Short Circuit. We wanted freaking Robotnik. We didn't want Robotnik, but AI was everywhere, right? We were dreaming of a society that we had robots that helped us. The difference here is that we wanted robots to help us. Okay? The robots were supposed to do all the stuff we didn't want to do. The robots were supposed to do our chores. The robots were supposed to help us be more productive. They weren't supposed to do our art and our crafts and our livelihoods, okay? The thing here with AI is that everyone's been complaining about AI for a while, alright? Uh, journalism was talking about, and I only know this because I was in the newspaper industry. There was a time, I don't know if they've adapted it or not because I left before I knew, which is probably good because I wouldn't have supported this. They were talking about using AI to write stories. No, please. No. Bad. Bad robots. Stay in your lane. Okay? AI is not meant to do our work for us. It's meant to make it easier, okay? Human creativity is something that even if it can be replicated, should not be replicated, alright? This is Spidey. Hold on. I got a cat coming to see you. This is Spidey. He's my cat nephew. Human creativity is the essence of what we are, okay? At our very core, humans are made to converse and create and take care of. We are caregivers, creators, and conversationalists. That is what humanity is, all right? And you can't convince me otherwise. That is what we are, all right? If we are taking away the elements that make us, we are going to end up like the people in WALL-E. We are going to end up lazy and having no meaning to our lives, all right? And when we find a new meaning, we're going to grasp onto it and just go. Because humanity is the only real creature in the world. There's a lot of creatures that we share traits with, and there's a lot of instincts we all have. Every single creature has. We all have survival instincts, right? But humanity is the only, my thing got knocked over, is the only creature that creates in the way that we do, that converses in the way that we do, and that takes care of in the way that we do. See, I go back to those three C's. Okay, you might say, well, a monkey can paint. A monkey can paint. You can teach a monkey to paint. But is a monkey going to write a novel or paint a picture for the sake of showing you that hunting is wrong. I'm not saying hunting is wrong. I live in a state where hunting is very necessary to life, just so you know, okay? But are they going to use paint or art as a means of social propaganda? No, they're not, okay? Or is a monkey gonna walk up to a person and be like, hey, you're being mean to that cat? No, they're not. Is a monkey going to see a bug in their friend's hair and instead of eating it, they're gonna be like, oh, it's just trying to live and go move it to a tree? No, they're not. Okay? So, our higher level of thinking that makes us human is ultimately makes our creative stuff better. I had a spam call. So, AI, which stands for artificial intelligence, there's two different kinds of AI. There's AI that is programmed to do what it's programmed to do and it doesn't do anything else. Okay? Sims, video games, uh, Word documents, Grammarly, technically. Grammarly's kind of on the edge, okay? They do what they're programmed and they don't do anything else. But then there's the AI that is capable of learning. That is the AI we need to be afraid of, right? Because it is an actual artificial intelligence, not an artificial intelligence like, here's a task, this is the only task you would know how to do, and you shall do this task. This is an artificial intelligence that's, here's a task, and they're like, oh, but what's that task? Okay? That is where we come to our witch hunt. Chat GPT. Is it, which AI is it? It's learning, guys. Um, I am on several different websites as a freelancer, and I have not accepted any jobs lately because everything I am getting job requests for is to teach an AI how to sound human. I don't want that job. Okay? It is literally how to teach them. These are the people who teach Grammarly sometimes, who teach ChatGPT how to sound human, how to write like a human, how to talk like a human, okay? Humanity in and of itself has a natural inborn instinct to recognize when something isn't human. And I really think that that's why this witch hunt for AI is becoming a big deal. Is because we have this innate instinct which when something is not what it's supposed to be, it triggers alarm bells. And we know when something's not supposed to be. It's the reason why we find kids, like, empty schools creepy. Because that school represents innocence, and we're like, oh, that's not right. It's the reason why some people, not all people, because some serial killers are really good at pretending to be normal, when they encounter someone evil, get a chill down their spine, and they're like, there's something wrong with this person. All right? I once read that it is basically the ability to tell when something is pretending to be human, but isn't. Okay? Why do we have this instinct? I have my theories. I have my theories that it goes back to demons and Native American lore about wendigos and stuff like that. Okay? Because obviously, if we have that instinct, there's a reason we have that instinct. You don't just have an instinct for no reason. And so, if we have an instinct to tell us when something's not a human but is pretending to be, then obviously something is preying on us that pretends to be human. Okay? And it could be ourselves. And so, anyway, that is what's getting triggered when AI is happening. People see a picture and they're like, there's something wrong with this picture. There's just something off. It's because it's AI. Alright? Currently, the AI things died down for a while. Everyone just kind of let it go. And they're like, it's irritating, but I mean, you can pretty much pick out most of the time you can tell if someone's using AI or not, okay? You just know. And, like, if an AI draws a human being, sometimes there's like an extra finger or something. They don't quite get it right. And it's like that, Star Wars exhibit in Barcelona. Have you guys seen that going around the web? Alright. I don't know if it's real or not, but it's like that, okay? It's Star Wars, but there's something wrong about it. And not only is there something wrong about the wax, what are they called? The fake humans that wear clothes, mannequins. Not only is there something wrong with the wax mannequins, but E.T. is in it. And you're like, this isn't right. Someone who has never seen Star Wars might be like, oh, okay. But people who have seen Star Wars are like, wait. If we even remove E.T., there's still something wrong here. Okay? And so it's kind of like that. And when you're reading a book, you kind of get that feeling too. The big issue that has come up is prompts. I know an author who edits her books using AI. I want to read her books. I have read one of her books. Um, as you know, I don't read AI generated content, and I do not consume AI generated art if I absolutely can avoid it. Sometimes it is hard to tell, guys, but I mean, usually you know. I don't like ghostwriting. If I find out an author's using a ghostwriter, I won't read that author. Um, and that's just because I feel like the person actually writing the story should be getting more credit than the author is, because why is the author taking all the royalties in the credit when someone else wrote the book? Alright, that's but what was I on about? We were talking about AI, but where was I going? I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. So she edits her books using AI. Technically, I do too, to a degree. Okay? Editing is different than writing. So if you go to ChatGPT and you type in, I experimented the other day with this because I wanted to see what would happen. I typed in, write me a post about this Mary Kay product. And it gave me everything about this product. It gave me emojis, so it looked great and fun to mess around with. It gave me a place to drop in the link for the product. Okay? I posted that to see what would happen. I got about the same amount of interaction as anything else, so whatever. But then I was like, what would happen if I told Chat GPT to write a post about one of my books? Did not post this, by the way, okay? I will never use it for my books. But so I told it to write it about my books. And it got the book kind of wrong, because there are other authors out there with the same pen name as me. There's another W.A. Ashes. Did you know that? Yeah. And so it took my book Fall of Fire, and it said Fall of Fire is a story about a demonic uprising. And I was like, come again? I was like, I mean, what? And they're like, the demons are invading the earth, and Hephaestus must come to the rescue of the humans and destroy them with his mighty hammer. And I was like, okay, sounds like a good premises for a game, but not my book. Okay. And so even it has errors. So if you type in a story, I type in the Chat GPT, write me a story about a dragon doing this. It might come up with something. I mean, it will come up with something. It's not going to not come up with something. But just because you had the initial idea does not mean the final product belongs to you in that instance. Sorry. My initial idea for the post was a post about my book. The final product, had I posted it, belonged to that robot because it wrote it. Okay? I didn't write it. I just had an idea. And so if you're using it to write your full books, I don't read them. If I find out, I will not read them, because the robot wrote it, not you. You didn't do it. Okay? And so that's the issue there, is first of all, people are getting mad because people are using AI to write their own stuff and then taking credit. And two, doing that supports the AI industry, and there's a lot of people who absolutely hate every single part of the AI industry. I like some parts and don't like some parts. I very much enjoy Grammarly and my built-in spell check, okay, which is an AI. I very much enjoy that. It makes my life as a author so much more easier, because if I can just go in, write my story, and then it says, hey, this word is spelled wrong, I can be like, oh, yeah, it is, and then change it, okay? I use Grammarly sometimes to edit, like that author I was telling you about. I use Grammarly to help me edit, but I don't use prompts, so I'm not quite sure how that's working out for her. But I will take my chapter, drop it in the Grammarly. Grammarly will be like, this is changed. I do not use premium Grammarly. I want that noted. Premium Grammarly will legit tell you to change your sentence structures and stuff, and it's like rewriting almost. I don't use premium. I just use basic, which is a spell check, and I think it's just a little bit better than the spell check in my Word. And so that's why I use it. And I'll go through and then I put it back in my document, reread it to make sure it's exactly what I want, not anything extra that the robot threw in, and then go on. All right. But people are finding in books AI prompts, and then they are calling out people, authors, for this. Rightfully so. If you give a robot a prompt and they write you a story, and then you drop it in, and you leave the prompt in, that's literally like the same thing of saying that, of like leaving a sticky note asking your friend to copy their homework onto your homework when you hand it in. All right, it's cheating. And so yeah, people are calling out authors for that. Now the author that I saw that I was telling you about, she had an issue. She had ARC copies and beta copies. ARC are not final products. Okay. When an author gives an ARC to a reader, we kind of always have a heart attack because we know that there's a slight chance that those are going to be changed, but that those reviews are also going to go online and affect our story because it's going to tell people how it is, right? It's like a fan screening of the book basically. And so this author gave her street team AR copies of a book. One of her readers found a prompt that she left in for editing purposes. The author states on their Facebook page that it was for editing purposes only, that it did not write her story, that she was using it to edit and she accidentally left a prompt in that she was using to edit. I don't know what she was doing with prompts. I can't judge her for that. Everyone has their own writing process here. But she stated it was for editing only, okay? The reader, though, saw this, noticed it, immediately said, that is AI because it is a prompt, took a screenshot, shared it outside of the street team. That reader has just potentially ruined a career, okay? Because they shared this and people are going ballistic because there are prompts left in stories. Now, prompts break up stories. They break up the flow, and they should not be left in a story. I don't use them, okay? I don't, but like I said, I don't know what she was doing with the prompt for editing. But she said it was for editing, and I know her, and I'm gonna believe her that it was for editing and not for the overall full creation of the book, okay? And so, in that case, when it's for editing, it's not. When you're getting an ARC, you know there's going to be mistakes because it's not edited fully. All right. And so you should be lenient. That reader should have gone to the author and been like, hey, this is in the book. You want to tell me what this prompt is? Like, are you using AI? And let the author explain it to her. Because if it's part of the editing process, then it has nothing to do with the story creation itself. And the work is all still hers. And the reader should not have just been blasting her across social media. All right, that's basically my real talk time today. Be nice. If you're on a street team, please reach out to the authors if you have problems with the books, not to other readers and not to people outside the street team. If you're on a street team, you are supposed to be trustworthy. You receive an unedited edition of a book in return for an honest review of the plot only. I want that stressed. An honest review of the plot only, not the grammar, not the spelling, not the format, because the book is not completely edited. Okay? We all make mistakes. We are humans. Even robots make freaking mistakes. Okay? We are human. And so, yeah, there's going to be mistakes, but that's how we get the process done. It's part of the torture and agony of writing a book. You write a book, and in your head, you know this, so you're typing really fast because you see it in your head, and then your finger slips. Wrong key. or your mind's working too fast that it switches letters around, or you forget a tab, or there should be a comma there, but you forgot and you accidentally use a semicolon. Okay, that's why we edit. We go back through, we reread it, we edit, we reread it, make sure that we read it like a reader would, so we know it flows nicely. And then we publish once we know that it's done. But an ARC book is not completely done. So, readers, please don't witch hunt authors just because of editing mistakes. Okay? Please reach out to authors if you see something that looks like a AI prompt, because you don't know their process and you don't know if it's just for editing or for story creation. So ask them, just ask them nicely. If an author is using AI, they'll tell you. Okay? I mean, I know, I knew, I don't don't use them anymore. I knew authors who used AI there up front. I knew an author who used a ghostwriter. No longer follow her. She pissed me off because she was mean to her ghostwriter. Okay, and having an AI write your book is basically the same thing as having a ghostwriter. I'm sorry, but it is. Because someone else is writing it for you and you're taking credit, is what it is. It's like if you wrote an English paper and someone else submitted it. A grade was yours, not theirs. And that's not selfish, okay? That's knowing your worth, all right? And in the case of that ghostwriter, what happened was her ghostwriter was receiving an upfront pay for the manuscripts, right? The author was receiving royalties. What she noticed was that the author was getting 5 stars in all of her books. She was a 5-star author. So this ghostwriter was like, wow, I'm a 5-star author. I wrote those, so I'm a 5-star author. And she came in and tried to negotiate for a little higher price because the person taking credit was making a lot of royalties off of these books. She didn't want to do the higher price, and the ghostwriter goes, okay, fair. Here's what's gonna happen. I'm just not gonna ghostwrite anymore for you. And then the author got pissed, and she's like, "What do you mean you're not gonna ghostwrite?" And the ghostwriter's like, "I'm just not. I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm not gonna tell anyone. These are your books. We had a contract. They're your books, but I'm gonna go do my own thing and write my own." The author then ultimately blew up her own career because the author decided that she didn't trust this girl not to tell anyone, and announced worldwide publicly on her platform that she was using a ghostwriter, and then like ripped into this ghostwriter. We all switched over to the ghostwriter. Every single one of us. I haven't picked up a single one of that author's books because she just announced to everyone she wasn't writing her own stuff. And we all know who the person is that was writing it now, and we all like the book, so why wouldn't we go over to the person who was writing it? Like, it's all crazy. But that's my real talk time today, guys. I hope you followed it. I hope I didn't ramble too much. My real talks are always rambling. It's just kind of thoughts that come to my head, like in my musing books. It's just things that I think of that I feel like we need to chat about in a civil manner. And so, just a reminder, chat about it. Chat about AI. Chat about whatever you think about it and your opinions about prompts in the comments. Just be civil about it. Alright, we're just nice here. We're good human beings, and part of it is communication, like I said, so let's communicate. Did you say my name on that? No, I think you just saw my order. Okay. I'm trying to be more private on here and not give out my public name, my private name, because I'm trying to get my name back out there in writing. I kind of took a break, and so now I have to re-establish. I have some readers. I have some constant readers, obviously, that have been reading since the beginning, but I'm trying to re-establish my presence. And in the process of doing that, I'm cutting back on using my actual personal accounts on things and just using my author presence. And so, thank you guys for joining me for my real time talk today. And I hope you guys have a great day and a wonderful life. I love you all. Bye, souls. Did it end? No. Why I keep doing this, guys? I hit the button and now stop recording. Let's try this again. Bye, souls. I love y'all. Now Stop.